And isn't it good to take sin to a deeper level where it's not just doing naughty things, but sin actually a way that affects the whole of the makeup of humanity? Hey, taking calls, 1-800-316-316. Let's hear from Cindy in Benalla. Hello, Cindy. Welcome.
Hello. I got rat problems because I got a lot of garden and a lot of poultry. Normally it's a mice problem and one rat in the compost, but the one rat got away into breeding, and now that's coming up to cold weather, it's gotten worse. I'm trying the snappy traps, and they occasionally get them, so then I tried the little cat cages, the little 4 rats that you can get at Bunnings. That was working for a while, but then I stopped being able to catch them, and then they decided to get into my hay in the duck shed, and they made a mess in there and started breeding. So I have to get to them before they get to the house, because every time I go out at night time, they're all over, about 10 of them are all over the top of the cages of the chook shed and the pigeon cage, scaring the animals. My pigeon ended up with a black eye yesterday trying to fly at night time. So apparently they can cause your house to catch on fire if they eat the wiring, and then they breed in your roof, so I've got to get them before that. So I'm up to the point where I have to use the baits, and I didn't want to. This is a problem. Last year I used the baits. Normally I use them in the little bait box for mice, because it's got a little hole when I had the mice problem.
Cindy, talk about putting John Mackay to the test today, and I think there'll be a lot of people in rural communities can really relate to rats and mouse plagues and bad things that happen with these sorts of things. John, what's your response for Cindy?
Okay, having lived on the land, having had chickens, having had rats, obviously your first point is make sure your compost bin is cut off from where the rats can get in. Rats only multiply where we provide them with the food, whether it's the haystack or whatever. You're worried about them getting into the house. Hate to tell you this, they're probably already there. They are really clever at multiplying and filling your property. So if you can do anything to stop them getting that, including having a cat or 10 cats, right? That's why farmers always had a loose cat out in the field. As much as we don't like animals being killed, the reality is if you don't in this sin-filled world, they will take over. So when I was out at one country school, I spent the week in that school, and we had to lock our food in the car overnight because there was a mouse plague. And these happen regularly in Queensland, and they invaded everything, the schoolroom, the classroom. School was terrible that week, but we had to do something that said, hey guys, God gave me dominion. Right? God gave me, the mankind, dominion over the rats. You are not entitled to be in here. If you don't leave by choice, I will force you to leave. So find a way. You may not like using the baits, but in reality, in the end, it may be you or them, right? But just make sure your baits aren't anywhere kids can get. Make sure they aren't anywhere the other animals can get.
I used them in I had one rat bait box last year, and I used it. I haven't used it before because I just was focusing on the mice. So last year I used the one for the rats, and they don't tell you till after it's too late that rats actually take the bait and cart it around the yard and drop it.
Oh, they will do that.
I didn't know that, and my dog died.
They will do that, of course, because they're designed to work on making the rat bleed, which makes it thirsty, which makes it move. So if you want to attract them to one place only, make sure you have a big water supply outside of where your pet dog goes. Right? That's why the rat leaves. He's really thirsty from blood loss, and they will cart the baits around. But the best sort of baits you'll find are the waxy ones, right? The ones that are enclosed in wax that have a anti-dog smell, an anti-cat, I hate this flavour. Right, and that will protect your animals really, really efficiently. So that's the best solution. But remember, the principle here is God gave me dominion. The rats don't have dominion over us. We have dominion over the rats. So feel free to exercise that dominion with God's authorization.
Cindy in Benalla, thank you so much for your call. We are going to news and continuing our conversation after Vision National News. 1-800-316-316 might be a question across all sorts of dimensions around the creation evolution debate, but we are talking about snakes, we are talking about venom, we are talking about poison, and 1-800-316-316. Back with John Mackay shortly.